Welcome to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan, where we're going to cast and blast you right out of this world with some of the best hunting and fishing stories that you can't even imagine.
Welcome to Fish Hunt Talk. This is John Hennigan, and we have our host, Frank Selby. Hey, Frank.
I'm here.
Frank, if you have not listened to a Fish Hunt program, this is the one. I'm so excited about this, I can't even stand it. First of all, in studio with us is Jason Grupp, who's an Orvis guide. And he is, well, I don't know how much chance we'll get to talk, but he is going to bring into this, by electronic communication, a company called Western Rivers, conservation.com, Western Rivers, and this is unbelievable. I never heard of them before. But, you know, you have all these conservation groups that want to protect the environment, protect the land, and so they set it aside. But you can't use it. These guys buy property, and they've got like 50,000 acres of riverfront streams in Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington. And what they do is they open this property for anybody. They give access where normally would not. They work with, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll find out. And then we have the man himself that you're bringing on, Gary Loomis. I mean, who gets a chance to interview him? So this is the show of shows. So make sure that you pay close attention. And we also just want to quickly bring up, we're taking calls for people that want to go to Ketchikan, Alaska, July 12th to the 16th, all-inclusive, $1,875. Get in touch with me, and let's get your reservation in because we're very limited. Anyway, Frank, we're going to go, but anything in 5 seconds?
No, I'll say the last minute.
All right. That sounds good. Let's do that. We'll finish up with you. Anyway, God, I'm so excited about today's show. So pay close attention. Make sure you go to fishtalkradio.com, listen to the show. You're going to want to listen to it over and over. All righty. We'll be right back with you.
A few years ago, a sailor set out to design a boat shoe that was comfortable and stable, non-skid, and wouldn't mark the decks. Today, these incredibly comfortable shoes are worn by anglers, boaters, professional guides, and charter captains. Go to softscience.com to see more. Soft Science shoes and boots are lightweight and shock absorbent with just the right level of support. Several styles come in all sizes. Enjoy the Soft Science shoe in the water and out. Check them out at softscience.com.
It's time for you to take a real fun adventure. Join a hosted fishing adventure to Alaska or Baja with the staff of Fish Talk Radio. Real Fun Adventures can book you on any adventure you desire. Bring your fishing friends or meet new ones. Fish Talk Radio gets the best deals from our sponsors to give you the best possible price. Real Fun trips are inclusive, easy, no-worry packages to the most popular fish grounds. Trips start around $600. Go to REELfunadventures.com.
If you are still using a plastic hard-shell cooler, things have changed for the better. AO coolers are lighter with twice the efficiency of the traditional bulky coolers. AO coolers are the best available soft-sided cooler with 3/4-inch high-density closed-cell foam insulation. They will keep ice frozen for 24 hours in hot weather. Easy to carry, less space, it fits product inside for better performance. Go to aocoolers.com to order or find a retailer. Available at West Marine.
With a long pedigree, the Snow Bee brand today offers the very best equipment modern technology can provide. Started in Europe, Snow Bee is now providing quality fly fishing gear in the USA. Waders, clothing, rods, reels, fly lines, bags, and innovative new accessories. Enjoy your sport and leisure time more than ever. The affordable value of Snow Bee makes it available to everyone. Go to snowbee-usa.com.
Catch 'em shallow, I can catch 'em deep. Open water or the back of the creek. The wind and rain and me
welcome back to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan.
This is John Hennigan and our host Frank Selby. And we have in studio with us Jason Grupp, who's an Orvis authorized guide. And he has struck up a friendship with someone that I would like him to introduce.
You know, this is a really neat person to bring on air, and him and I personally have been on some pretty amazing adventures ourselves out in Colorado and floating down a river for 4 days and all kinds of crazy stuff. But Jim represents a company called Western Rivers, and, I'd really like him to explain what they do so this gets conveyed in a way that everybody can really understand, because it is a really amazing company. Jim, welcome.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jason. It's great to be on the show.
Well, Jim, give us an idea, first of all, who you are, what you do, and your email is westernriversconservation.com. Is that correct?
It's our email is my email is jcox@westernrivers.org, and our organization's email is westernrivers.org.
Okay.
Do you have a website, too?
That's the website, westernrivers.org.
Which is a beautiful website, I might add, and really showcases some of the properties that they represent and own and turn over for us to use. So, Jim, do you want to give us kind of an overview of what you guys what you guys do?
Yeah. I came to the organization about 10 years ago. I've been fly fishing for about 30 years, and I've taken, as a lot of fly fishers do, take several fly fishing magazines, and I started seeing these ads about this organization called Western Rivers Conservancy that was conserving properties on rivers that I was either fishing on or wanted to be fishing on. And so I became involved as a volunteer and ultimately was hired by the organization about 8 years ago. I'm their director of donor relations, and Western Rivers Conservancy serves a really important place in the conservation for rivers in the western United States. What we do is we specialize in land acquisition, so we buy properties from willing sellers on outstanding streams in 11 western states, basically kind of Rocky Mountain states to the Pacific, to protect the wildlife, protect fish, but also to provide public access to these streams. The organization's been doing that for over 30 years. We've helped conserve over 160 different streams and tributaries during that 30-period time. And the way that we do the work, not only do we buy the properties, but we also, in order to ensure that they can be stewarded long-term and to have public access, we always convey them to a long-term steward. So, for example, we have created BLM access sites for hunting and fishing. We've also worked with Fish and Wildlife and the National Forest to expand those areas. We've helped create state parks, including one I hope we'll talk about later in Oregon on the John Day River, Cottonwood Canyon State Park, the longest, second largest state park in the state of Oregon, and occasionally work with other organizations like Native American tribes or other land trusts. It's a really effective model because once you own a property, you can immediately start doing the right things in terms of conservation for that. You don't have to wait. You can immediately make good things happen.
Well, Jim, you know what is so exciting is that you've got a lot of different nonprofits and conservation organizations, and what they want to do, they want to protect the wildlands and lock it off. They want to keep it natural, but nobody can use it. What you guys do is just the opposite.
Yeah, we certainly do protect the wildlife because that's number one for us. Any project that we do has a strong conservation value. So we're doing it for the fish, we're doing it for the birds, we're doing it for the critters that are out there. But we also believe that people, if they can enjoy these properties, will be willing to support these efforts because, this doesn't happen for free. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, which means that a lot of the work that we do is dependent upon people going to westernrivers.org and making a donation. So we believe that it's compatible not only to be able to do conservation, but to also open these up to people that fish, that hunt, that camp, that boat. It's very important to our mission.
And how much property do you have?
Well, I don't know the absolute number of the properties, but it's along 160 different rivers, and we can talk about several of them to give an example of what the impact of those purchases have been.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I live in Oregon. My home is in Portland, Oregon. So we have, several rivers here that are my home waters. I'm very lucky. I have, I'm able to go out and cast a line for, winter steelhead at 40 minutes from my house. But one of the most significant rivers that we've worked on in the state of Oregon is the John Day, and it's probably not known to a lot of people outside of Oregon and Washington, but it's the second longest free-flowing river in the western United States behind the Yellowstone. And it has the single healthiest run of wild summer steelhead in the entire Columbia River Basin. It's a tributary to the Columbia. It's in north central Oregon. And it's a spectacular stream. And we were able to purchase 2 different ranch properties. The first one we did in 2008, where we purchased the Murtha Ranch, which was on over 16,000 acres, 16 river miles of the John Day, at a place where a public highway crossed the river, but the rancher was not very friendly to public access. And so we were able to buy that property, ultimately convey it to Oregon State Parks. It protected 16 miles of the river, provides public access to 16 miles for hiking, for fishing, and also protected 4 miles of one of the 4 most important lower tributary spawning streams for steelhead on Hay Creek, and allowed restoration on that creek. And then after that, in 2014, we were able to purchase yet another ranch on 10 miles of the John Day. It was 42 miles upstream of that original ranch, and a wilderness study area that the BLM has, which is one of the most spectacular canyon floats in the western United States. So it offered another public access point and protected the single most important tributary stream for wild steelhead on the lower river, 30-Mile Creek.
Well, let me just interject. What you're doing, you don't pay a fee, to work with you guys. What you guys are doing is providing access where normally we would not have it.
That's true. Absolute public access. The state park, there's no fee to use it unless you're camping, and it's a minimal fee. The other area is a BLM access site. We've conveyed it to the BLM this last year, up the upstream one at 30-Mile Creek, and it's free access.
That's incredible. Who would do that?
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's a really effective way to do conservation.
There's a lot of preserves, but what they do is they preserve the environment, but by doing that, they cut off access to people that want to enjoy it.
It's really a win-win for everybody, including the animals, the nature, the preservation of the land.
You work with the Indians and a lot of the logging companies, and they all just kind of help to do what you're doing, because what you're doing is incredible.
It's amazing that we're able to do it. We're able to serve 2 functions at once. We're able to do the conservation work and let people enjoy it at the same time.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. So, obviously, you need money to do this.
Yes, indeed. This does not come cheap.
And anybody, anywhere in the world, these rivers that you're talking about are world class.
They are absolutely world-class. You can go to our website, westernrivers.org. We have a list of our current projects, our accomplishments. You can certainly make a contribution on the website as well. And we even have a little a dashboard of different places that we consider some of the great fly fishing streams that we've conserved over time. And if you sign up for our website or for our email, a monthly email, we do a special on the River of the Month, which tells you, what we've done with it, how to access it, what the fishing, hunting, camping options are.
Well,
it's a really great thing.
We're about done with this segment, but just one quick question. I don't know how fast you can do it. You also have bird hunting?
Yes, on some of the properties. Matter of fact, on the property at the Cottonwood Canyon State Park, there's a big chukar hunting contingent out there, and that's one of the few state parks in Oregon where hunting is allowed.
Wow. This is incredible. How do you do this? Well, obviously it takes money.
By the kindness of people who help make donations and by having long-standing relationships with a lot of great governmental agencies.
That is incredible. I just can't believe that you could do that. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We got another 12 minutes with you, which is, we need a couple hours. But we'll be right back with Fish Hunt Talk. Go to fishtalkradio.com. Listen to us as many times as you want. And this one you're going to want to listen to a lot. We'll be right back.
Fish on!
It's a big one.
For passionate sports fishermen who value first-class fishing experiences paired with personalized service and amenities, all-inclusive Salmon Falls Fishing Resort on the Inland Passage reinvents the Ketchikan fishing getaway. Guests enjoy exceptional gourmet cuisine, superior fishing excursions, fully guided charter or self-guided in center console boats accommodating 3 anglers, updated guest rooms and suites, on-site fishing processing to clean, freeze, and pack your catch. Rooms range from log cabin rustic to modern. Our 52 rooms offer the ultimate in comfort after a long day of sightseeing, fishing, and exploring Ketchikan. Non-anglers love Salmon Falls too, shopping along Creek Street, kayaking, hiking, whale watching, or gathering around our fire pits with a hot beverage, all at prices less than expected. Just pull up Salmon Falls Resort in your search engine.
The East Cape of Baja, Mexico is world famous for sport fishing. Dorado, tuna, wahoo, marlin, sailfish, roosterfish, and pargo. The Van Wormer resorts make dreams come true at a price all can afford. Hotel Palmas de Cortez, Playa del Sol, and Hotel Punta Colorado have the biggest and best sport fishing fleet in all of Mexico. Call toll-free to 877-777-TUNA to find out how affordable world-class fishing can be. The finest resorts and the best boats in East Cape. Call 877-777-TUNA.
Vagabundos Del Mar Boat and Travel Club has 42 years experience introducing RVers to the joys of Mexico. Specializing in Baja, Vagabundos leads caravans and sponsors fishing tournaments, trailer boat cruises, and weekend getaways in Mexico and the West. Vagabundos Del Mar also saves its 10,000 members tons of money on low-cost auto insurance. Stay up to date on Mexican travel with the printed newsletter online at vagabundos.com or call 800-474-BAJA.
With a long pedigree, the Snow Bee brand today offers the very best equipment modern technology can provide. Started in Europe, Snow Bee is now providing quality fly fishing gear in the USA. Waders, clothing, rods, reels, fly lines, bags, and innovative new accessories. Enjoy your sport and leisure time more than ever. The affordable value of Snow Bee makes it available to everyone. Go to snowbee-usa.com.
A full-service fly shop, His and Her Fly Fishing, offers FFI certified international fly fishing instructor and guide service with Frank Selby. Listen to Frank as host of FishHuntTalkRadio.com or listen live Saturdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on SiriusXM Radio Channel 211. Custom flies are handmade to your order in-house in Newport Beach. Fishing in Mexico, Belize, Florida, or the Rockies, Frank and the staff will deliver exactly what you need. Flies and gear. Google His and Her Fly Fishing.
Welcome back to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan.
This is John Hennigan, and I'm so excited to have Frank Selby, our host. And, man, this is an incredible, Jim, I never, well, actually, I hadn't heard of you, but I don't know why, but I do now, and consider me a strong supporter. I can't believe what you guys have been able to do, and I guess that most of it just has to do with donations. But you guys must generate a tremendous amount of money to buy this property. I know that you work with people that want to conserve the land, and they might give you some deals or donate, but the amount of property, was it 50,000 acres or who knows how much, of prime river access and, some wildlife, hunting and fishing. But it's just, I can't believe that you guys have been able to do what you do. And this is not just protecting the environment. This is making it accessible at no charge to people, outdoorsmen. It's incredible.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we've been around, as I mentioned, for 30 years. So we also, along with individuals, we have strong relationships with a series of foundations that also help us to get into below market loans to help us purchase these properties between the time that we're able to convey them to an agency for long-term stewardship. So that helps as well. To give you an example, one of the projects we're doing right now, and it's arguably the most important conservation project in the U.S. happening, is on the Klamath River. We bought 47,000 acres of commercial timberland.
Whoa.
This is a $60 million project in and of itself to protect Blue Creek on the Klamath, because the Klamath River at one time had fisheries runs that rivaled those in Alaska. And, over time and development, that river has gotten really warm. And these fish now go from cold Pacific Ocean water in August and September to water that's in the 70s degrees, which is lethal for salmon and steelhead and cutthroat trout and all those other species. And so we purchased this prime timberland 16 miles up from the mouth at a place called Blue Creek. And Blue Creek is the single most important cold water tributary to ensure the survival of salmon and steelhead. Every single fish that comes up the Klamath River stops at Blue Creek at least 12 hours and drops its body temperature 8 degrees Fahrenheit. If it weren't for Blue Creek, the next major cold water tributary up that river is the Trinity River, and those fish wouldn't make it. They would die. And so by purchasing this timberland, we're ensuring that it won't be clear-cut, that there's going to be a 47 or 73 square mile sanctuary along Blue Creek watershed to protect salmon, steelhead, and all the different salmonids that use that in perpetuity.
Do the logging companies help you with that?
Yeah, they did. We purchased the property, but because it was such a large project, we've been able to purchase parcels over time to make it reasonable for ourselves to do it. And then we're working with the Yurok tribe there for the long-term stewardship. They're already in the process of doing some restoration work. There's going to be projects doing a decommission of logging roads out there, and also doing restoration along the creek itself, just to make sure that it remains a great cold water sanctuary.
Well, logging has a tendency to produce things that go into the rivers.
Yeah, a lot of sediment, and that's the issue, is that if anything were to happen sediment-wise to this stream that would keep it from running cold year-round, it would be devastating to the Klamath River system. For fishermen throughout the entire Klamath system, not just around Blue Creek itself.
Well, this is so incredible. I applaud you in particular, but your organization, the what you do, and I suppose for every dollar that someone contributes, they're probably getting that multiple back.
They are. For every dollar that someone like you and I contribute, that's multiplied 10 or 20 times by the amount of money we're able to get from these foundations that give us loans to be able to actually purchase the properties outright. So it's a highly leveraged donation that happens that can be made at westernrivers.org.
And, we really need the help of everybody to keep this going. It's such a neat model that is so positive to, the hunting industry, the fishing industry, and just lets us all get out there and use these lands that are so beautiful.
And you don't have to, become a member or pay money. That you do this just for access to people that enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, and Jason and I have been out. We went fishing on a property just about 13 miles out of Steamboat Springs, Colorado, on the Yampa River. And this is an example of a little one. This is only a 45-acre property that doesn't sound significant, but it was the hole in the donut that we like to call of a piece of private property that was surrounded by 3 different pieces of public land: a state wildlife area, a BLM fishing access, and a Forest Service area. But this one piece of property was in the middle of it, and in Colorado as well as Wyoming, the landowners own the bottom of the river. So if you're in that river along that property, you're trespassing. So by purchasing this property, we were able to connect all 3 of those pieces of public land, and the fishery was pretty good, huh, Jason?
Oh, we had a great time, and yeah, this was such a beautiful piece of property. It'd really be a shame, to not be able to get on this land, especially for the locals. So. It's just such a neat business for us to support, and one reason why we really wanted to bring you on the radio today and help get your name out there and get more supporters going for Western Rivers.
Well, Jim, we have a very wide reach. We have people in Europe, East Coast, West Coast, the South, and the rivers that you're talking about are world class. So as far as a destination, if someone wants to learn more and maybe they'd like some advice on where to go and how to do it, can you help them out?
Absolutely. And our website, again, westernrivers.org, is a great place to land just to see, where these projects are, get a little information. You want to send me, an email, feel free. But most of all, I think you can find most of the information right on our website, along with just some stunningly beautiful photography of all these rivers.
Wow. I can't believe something like this exists. It's like,
well, it was my pleasure to join you and just kind of let you in on the secret.
Well, just give us an idea. Do you have other philanthropic groups that help you out?
We do work with we work in conjunction with several other organizations. Again, we specialize in the land acquisition part. So we've worked with Cal Trout and Trout Unlimited to help do some of the restoration projects. Again, we work with governmental agencies as well. I mean, that's just a few. So we partner, depending on where a river is, we do partner with different NGOs to help do some of the restoration work, which allows us to specialize in what we do best, which is the land acquisition.
Well, I have to say that I'm very pleased to know that the U.S. government can do something right.
There are a lot of people that actually do care about this in our government, and they have been really good stewards of these properties, and we have a long-standing relationship with them.
Wow. I mean, I just can't believe that you do this, and it's not just some. I want to be careful. I don't want to get political. About
and we're not a political organization. We're ecumenical.
About conservationists that that don't believe that that you should put a sharp object in the water because it might hurt a fish or actually kill something then eat it. This is not one of those groups.
We're friendly to outdoorsmen and outdoorswomen.
It's a traditional outdoor sport.
Now you got it, because there's a lot of fly fishing girls I know was about ready to kill you guys.
And I'll tell you,
they can cast really, really well.
I'll tell you, Jim's quite a camp cook as well. I've been on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's quite the host.
All right, Jim, I'm going to put you on the spot. One recipe. If you want to do fish or fowl or whatever, just give us one quick recipe that you like to do.
Oh, wow. I do one that's called chicken diavolo, where I take chicken thighs, I marinate them in olive oil, garlic, red pepper flakes, and black pepper for a couple hours, and just throw them on the grill, and they are delicious.
All right, say that again, please.
Chicken diavolo.
Yeah.
I mean, chicken hot as the devil. That's what the Italians call it.
And what is the recipe?
Brazilian or Italian?
Throw it together with a little risotto or a little gnocchi, and you're set.
But the recipe one more time. You marinate it in what?
Olive oil, marinated in olive oil.
So
I forgot the lemon juice. Olive oil, lemon juice, black pepper, red pepper flakes, and if you want, a little garlic and a little salt. And that's all. It's simple as can be.
And you marinate it for how long?
Marinate it for a couple hours.
And just throw it on the grill.
And throw it on the grill.
That's camp cooking.
Simple and delicious.
And then you go fishing.
You go fishing.
Will you do that in cast iron, or just put it on the grill?
I put it on the grill. I like to do it over charcoal, and it's good the next day in the lunch too. Have it hot for dinner, and then just take it for your picnic lunch the next day.
Well, I have to say, Jim, I just when I started learning about you guys, I was blown away. I go, how could something like that even exist? Because
we can thank Jason for kind of introducing you to us.
Yeah. Well, we're going to try and support you as much as we can, and we'll bring you back on because there's too much to cover in a short period of time that we have.
But, we've just covered like 3 of the 160 different projects. So I'd love to come back.
And again, people that are listening to the show that want to get in on world-class fishing, and they're thinking of the Pacific Northwest or the Western United States, people don't understand what's available.
Oh, it's an embarrassment of riches out here.
Well, you got Arizona, some stuff going on there, and Colorado, and California, and Oregon, Washington. So if anybody wants world-class streams and waters that you're probably not going to find anywhere in Europe or most other places in the United States. Get in touch with them. And the website, one more time, is
westernrivers.org.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Thanks for coming on, Jim. It was a pleasure, and we're real happy to support you.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking to you some more.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciated.
Too much to cover. All right. Frank, we're going to have to go, but we're going to come back with somebody that you're not going to believe. This tells you who Frank Selby is. He has the man himself that's coming up in the next segment, so stay tuned. You're listening to Fish Hunt Talk. Go to fishtalkradio.com and listen to us as many times you want.
I would rather be fishing, rather be
The road stretches for miles in front of you, and with the Ram 1500, you'll be able to reach mile after open mile. It gets a best-in-class 25 miles per gallon highway, so your destination won't just be determined by your gas gauge, but by your gauge for achievement. And the Ram 1500 is the first ever back-to-back Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Guts, glory, Ram. See your local Ram dealer today for great deals. EPA estimated 25 mpg highway based on V6 4x2.
A full-service fly shop, His and Her Fly Fishing, offers FFI certified international fly fishing instructor and guide service with Frank Selby. Listen to Frank as host of FishHuntTalkRadio.com or listen live Saturdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on Sirius XM Radio Channel 211. Custom flies are handmade to your order in-house in Newport Beach. Fishing in Mexico, Belize, Florida, or the Rockies, Frank and the staff will deliver exactly what you need. Flies and gear. Google His and Her Fly Fishing. The Soft Science footbed absorbs the shock of pounding waves, engine vibration, and even rocky terrain. Soft Science shoes are roomy and relaxed, and they drain and dry quickly. Check out the Soft Science Fin fishing shoes and boots and the Fin H2O for kayaking and canoeing. They're lightweight, slip-resistant, and won't mark your deck. See the new styles for men and women and get your pair on at softscience.com. Alaskan RV Butler. Guiding, fishing, hiking, sightseeing, adventure. The Alaskan RV Butler. Like a cruise on wheels in the comfort of an RV, view the wonders of Alaskan interior, streams, ocean, and wildlife. Or fish for the big one, all while pampered by Mike, the Alaskan RV Butler. Mike's inclusive tours serve butter-drenched shellfish and mouth-watering steaks. Mike is your personal chef, chauffeur, guide, and planner. And for the real Alaska, contact MikeRVButler@gmail.com. That's MikeRVButler@gmail.com.
It's time for you to take a real fun adventure. Join a hosted fishing adventure to Alaska or Baja with the staff of Fish Talk Radio. Real Fun Adventures can book you on any adventure you desire. Bring your fishing friends or meet new ones. Fish Talk Radio gets the best deals from our sponsors to give you the best possible price. Real Fun trips are inclusive, easy, no-worry packages to the most popular fish grounds. Trips start around $600. Go to REELFunadventures.com.
Welcome back to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan.
This is John Hennigan, of course, our host, Frank Selby. I have to tell you, our first guest that we had on, Jason Grupp, is in here, and he brought us in Western Rivers that I'd never heard about. What an incredible organization. It's just unbelievable the amount of work that they've been able to do for free to give people public access to properties that otherwise would have been lost. But anyway, I didn't know until this morning who our guest was that Frank was bringing on. I thought, that name sounds familiar. There's no way, Frank. No way.
Everybody knows that name.
No.
Hey, Gary, would you explain a little bit about your handles and tell them your website and how to get in touch with you first, and then let's go to the handles and how light your rods are now?
Well, you can just look up on edgerods.com, or that's probably the best way. Edge Rods. We're selling everything online now because we can sell it cheaper to the consumer than we do through the dealer.
Yeah, you don't want to get Frank. You don't want to sell it to Frank and have him sell it. He might make some money.
I'd be happy to sell it to Frank. He knows he's always. My old timers have always got first choice.
Yeah.
Watch out, we're not old timers there, Gary.
Well, we're older than most of them, but the oldest ones are still the toughest.
Well, the thing is Gary Loomis is an icon in the fly fishing industry, and I can't believe that Frank came up with you. And I go, well, you're kidding me. He's going to be on the radio with us today?
Yeah, not only the fly, but he's huge in the largemouth bass tournament scene, and they've got a huge array of rods over the years.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Frank wants to talk about the material of what you're doing right now, so let's do that. And then I'd like to step back a little bit about the Loomis rod. And
okay,
go ahead.
Well, I just finish up the handle thing. We've been using cork for 200 years, and if you really think about it, they use cork as an insulator on the reentry capsules, between the capsules and the ceramic.
Oh, really?
Because that's cork. That's what the ceramic is glued on to, is cork, because it's such a good insulator. Well, truly, I don't want an insulator on my handle. I want to be able to feel every single bite or everything that rod is doing. I'd put it on our spinning and casting handles, bass handles, for 2 years. I had made up one on a fly rod, and I'd taken it down to a show that we did in Denver, the Heart of the Fly Fishermen. And a guy came by and casted all of our rods and said, "Holy Toledo, what did you do here? These are even better than they used to be." Let me get rid of that. Better than they used to be. And what's this laying here on the desk apart? I said, well, it's a 4-piece rod that we're trying one with a fly rod with graphite handle. He said, well, can I cast it? I said, yeah. So I put it together, and he put a line on it. About 45 minutes, he came back, took it apart, reeled the line off of it, laid it down, and said, Gary, if you ever send me any more fly rods with a cork handle, I'll send them back. I said, well, do you like it? He said, I've been casting for 40 years. And he said, do you know why the fly fishermen, when they're standing there and they cast and they look back at their back cast? It's because they want to see that the back cast is opened up correctly before they start their forward cast. Without a good back cast, you have no good forward cast. He says, I was feeling something. I didn't know exactly what I was feeling until I turned around and looked. And with this new graphite handle, I can feel the back cast open up.
Wow.
He says, I'm just beyond myself. Well, the graphite handle is just a thin coat of graphite over the top of this other material that we have. And it also picks up the temperature of your hand in about 5 seconds. So on other rods that you're fishing in the winter and this type of stuff, you're not fishing a popsicle all the time. You're fishing a handle that warms up within your hand temperature within 5 seconds. It's more durable, and it's 30% lighter and stronger, and there'll be no pitting like that happens in cork handles.
Well, Jason Grupp is sitting here right with me, and he's an Orvis authorized guide. And I'm sure he's listening to this, and he's probably going, I want one of those.
Yeah, it doesn't sound so bad. Gary, you started off with Loomis rods, and that moved on to Shimano, and Edge rods is actually new to me. I didn't know much about it. So is this a new company that you just started? How long has it been going? Just kind of looking for the backstory there.
I started it about 5 or 6 years ago. Really for my son, but then my son decided he didn't want to make fishing rods, so I was just making blanks for companies that weren't getting the type of blanks that they wanted. And so I had the equipment, so I set it up for my son, and we started making blanks. And then one thing to another, and I just never could keep my hands off of making better fishing rods and this type of stuff. So, dallying in that, I ended up with this new graphite handles in spinning and casting, and everybody has fell in love with them. I couldn't make another cork handle.
You get killed.
Yeah.
I remember the first ones that you did.
The edge.
You guys brought them down to my shop. I casted that. It was like nothing in your hand, but you could feel the line just slide. You could even feel the yarn pull at the ends before you went forward. You didn't have to look back. You knew it. It is the best casting rod I've ever casted. And I've casted almost every one of your rods since the old IMX.
IMX, well, IM6, and then IMX, and then GLX.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've made a lot of them, but the thing is...
I still have that one you sent me, which signed by you.
Oh, yeah?
And the hat.
Get out and fish it more.
I did. I was out yesterday down in Dana Point fly fishing for yellowfin tuna.
Wait a minute.
How'd you do?
2.
Wow.
2.
Yeah, you don't normally go for yellowfin on a fly rod.
Yes, you do. We fish anything with the fly that you can catch unconventional. Mm-hmm. I proved that in Alaska 3 years ago.
Yeah, when he said he brought his fly rod, said he wanted to catch a halibut, and I go, Frank, I know you're good, but you don't catch halibut on a fly rod. Halibut are, basically they lay on the bottom and they don't go for flies.
Believe it or not, they have a record of halibut with a fly.
Yeah.
Right here in Santa Barbara, I had a client fly down from San Francisco over the summertime. We had an evening trip right here on East Beach, right downtown Santa Barbara. We landed 6 halibut on fly rod.
Wow.
Right off the beach. Our biggest one about 25 inches.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, in Alaska they normally are deep, but even if you're able to hook one, how do you get it up?
A lot of work.
Yeah, there you go.
A strong handle.
Yeah.
Those fly fishermen, if you give them a challenge, they'll get it done.
Yeah. Well,
everybody says, my sister always said I was born, before I had a bottle in my hand, I had a fly rod.
Yeah, well, I believe so. But I'm curious about, you and Gary. And I couldn't believe that. I was looking at the sheet and I go, Gary Loomis? No, couldn't be Gary Loomis. must be a common name.
Hey, John, the best fun you would ever have in your life.
Yeah.
The best fun you would ever have in your life is going up to his house. You tell the story how you get everything ready before we even walk down to the river.
Yeah, I used to, we're just a quarter of a mile from the river. And so when we was feeding all of our troops up there, I'd put the barbecue briquettes on and get them fired up, and then I'd run down and catch a steelhead, come up and flay it up and put it on the grill. Probably did it 200 times, and everybody said, "Aren't you putting the cart in front of the horse?" And I said, "Not on the North Fork of the Lewis River. It's like going to the grocery store."
No, to have the man himself here, you don't do too many radio interviews, I'm sure. So we are very excited, to get the legend himself on with us.
And if you need any product testers here in Santa Barbara, I'm sure John and I could hit the beach for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, but again, Jason is a very accomplished guy. He takes people on trips to Belize, and it's all fly fishing, obviously, in different areas. But he's actually got a trout pond where he works in the vineyard that is full of. Well, you see, you got these from Canada.
They are Nebraska tailwalkers, which is the Kamloops rainbow from Canada.
Yeah,
they're huge.
And it's fishing in a barrel. You don't even have to know how to fish. But it's beautiful. But anyway, if you make it up this way, we'll take care of you, which I don't think will happen. But
well, if you guys get some questions on one of your other shows, give me a call back and I'll answer all the questions that
you're on the list, man. I can't. We could bring you on every week and it wouldn't be enough.
You got that right.
Frank,
if you tell half the stories about rods, you'll be there for 6 years.
Right. Well, Frank, we're going to have to close this segment up, but I want to thank you again for bringing Gary on. I couldn't believe that when Gary Loomis, the Gary Loomis. Anyway.
Yeah, Gary, give your website one more time.
Just look up under edgerods.com. You'll find it, or look under Gary Loomis. My email is gary.loomis@edgerod.com.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
A few years ago, a sailor set out to design a boat shoe that was comfortable and stable, non-skid, and wouldn't mark the decks. Today, these incredibly comfortable shoes are worn by anglers, boaters, professional guides, and charter captains. Go to softscience.com to see more. Soft Science shoes and boots are lightweight and shock absorbent with just the right level of support. Several styles come in all sizes. Enjoy the Soft Science shoe in the water and out. Check them out at softscience.com.
Used by fishermen who know where to get the best fishing gear around, AFTCO makes the highest quality fishing rod components worldwide. If it says AFTCO, you know you have a quality rod. Guy Harvey Clothing, the best outdoor clothing line anywhere, is also available through AFTCO. Longest lasting, functional, and best looking clothing you'll be proud to wear. Only the very best materials and workmanship. As soon as you put it on, you'll know the difference. Look for AFTCO at quality retailers or go to aftco.com.
Fish on!
It's a big one.
For passionate sports fishermen who value first-class fishing experiences paired with personalized service and amenities, all-inclusive Salmon Falls Fishing Resort on the Inland Passage reinvents the Ketchikan fishing getaway. Guests enjoy exceptional gourmet cuisine, superior fishing excursions, fully guided charter or self-guided in center console boats accommodating 3 anglers, updated guest rooms and suites, on-site fishing processing to clean, freeze, and pack your catch. Rooms range from log cabin rustic to modern. Our 52 rooms offer the ultimate in comfort after a long day of sightseeing, fishing, and exploring Ketchikan. Non-anglers love Salmon Falls too, shopping along Creek Street, kayaking, hiking, whale watching, or gathering around our fire pits with a hot beverage, all at prices less than expected. Just pull up Salmon Falls Resort in your search engine.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I can catch them shallow, I can catch them deep. Muddy water or the back of the creek. Wind and rain to me, it's all the same. I make a living playing this game, and I thank the Lord above every time I can. I get to be a fisherman. Yeah, I'm a fisherman.
Welcome back to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan.
This is John Hennigan and our host Frank Selby, and we only got a couple of minutes to wrap it up, but we have the man himself, Gary Loomis. Anybody that knows anything about fishing rods, in particular fly fishing, he's the god. And I have Jason Grupp right here, and we only got a couple of minutes, but you know, Jason, you are a very accomplished angler, especially fly fisherman. You do a lot of group trips. You're a guide. And having the opportunity to talk to Gary just for a minute, let's give you an opportunity to ask him a couple of questions.
Yeah, you know what? Sitting here, I was thinking about all the old Loomis rods I'd had over the years. I was on your pro staff back from the original before Shimano picked you guys up. And out of that lineup of rods from the GLX and IMX, and you know, what would you say was the best one or your biggest accomplishment out of all those lineups? Which would you say was the highest quality?
Well, to tell you the truth, each one of them as they came along. We came out with the IM6. That was a really good material over the standard graphite, and it enabled us to make the rod 20% lighter. And weight is a deterrent to performance. And then IMX came out and was able to make them another 9 to 12% lighter. And then GLX came out, was a huge jump. And then as we got better into the design and the manufacturing and our machinery, they just kept getting better. I sure will not ever make a rod that is not better than the last one I made.
Just a real quick question, Gary. Do you have any idea how many fly rods you've made in your career? That's a tough question.
Probably wrap around the world.
Yeah,
probably would.
I mean, anybody that's a professional fly angler has got at least a couple of Loomis rods.
You got to remember, for many years I made blanks for 22 other rod companies. So at one time I made all of the blanks for all of the domestic rod companies that didn't make their own blanks. So I made Winstons and Powells and Cabela's and Bass Pros and Cortland's, and I made everybody's blank.
Well, you must have tell us about your facilities. Must be huge.
Well, it was a really nice facility at G. Loomis. I sold that because I had prostate cancer. After the cure, they gave me 18 months to live. So I sold the golf division, and I sold my camp in Russia for Atlantic salmon, sold G. Loomis, and decided I was just going to lay around until I died. Well, that was 20-some years ago. Wow. And I didn't make it very long until all of a sudden I started making more blanks, and I'm back into it. I started the old. I started Edge Rods up with where I started G. Loomis.
Oh.
And I ran it for a while there, and we got too small. So I went downtown. I got a bigger building downtown, and geez, now we're 30% to 50% undersized now, and we're looking at a new building. I've got if you put it in order, you'd probably have to wait a month to get it, because with that far behind, if I hired 2 more people, I'd have to build a tent and put them outside because I got no room in.
Put them in a tent outside, okay. Gary, it's been such a pleasure. I hope you don't mind if we call you back, because having the opportunity to talk to the man himself is very rare. I know you don't do that many interviews, so we really take it very seriously, and we appreciate it. Frank, thank you very much for bringing him on, and I was blown away that when I saw that name today.
Oh, Gary,
get some questions for me next time.
All right, well, we're going to have to wrap this one up. Just go to fishtalkradio.com. You're going to want to listen to this entire show many times, because we got so much, probably one of our best shows, the best guests we've ever had. So we appreciate that very much. And go to the website. Just go to fishtalkradio.com. That's an easy one. Frank, thank you very much. Gary, it's been such a pleasure. I never thought I'd get the chance to talk to you.